We continue with the Operation Encore Edit reading, and this file is a short file. It's called Evidence Recovery at Shanksville. I'll make myself disappear so you can read the whole file itself. FBI Pittsburgh Evidence Response Team activity at Somerset crash site may be completed sometime on September 22nd, 2001 or September 23rd, 2001. The raking and sifting of the dirt has resulted in the recovery of a great deal of human remains. I just want to bring up too. I want to bring up a little bit here. The coroner was Wally Miller, and he managed to find about approximately 600 pounds of human remains of the passengers and crew. And as you know, obviously, because the plane was nosediving into the ground, which carried 38,000 gallons of fuel, you're not going to find much of anything. And it's a miracle they found that much. But at least it was in a compact area. You know, a lot of these people basically love to say, well, why wasn't there a whole engine or a whole wing? I mean, what do you expect a plane to look like? With over 165,000 pounds of fuel. And it just explodes at 430 miles an hour into the ground. Which, I mean, really, you know, the body is 90% water. What do you think happens to the human body? You're not, I mean, there's not much of the plane going to begin with. I mean, grow up, people. You know, goodness gracious, it's common sense. Never mind smashing into a building like the Pentagon World Trade Center. That's why they found 95% of this plane here because at least it hit ground. You know, they found, and I'm sure there's still plane debris in Lower Manhattan, in between building crevasses or in between the building spaces. And they found part of the landing gear, I think like 10 years after the fact. It wouldn't be surprising to see plane debris just scattered all over Lower Manhattan. On September 22nd, 2001, it is anticipated that the pumping of the 2-acre pond near the crash site will be completed. After the pumping of the pond, FBI PGERT will man 2 boats to visually look for items of potential evidentiary value in the pond. Once this is completed, FBI PGERT and other law enforcement personnel will conduct a final walkthrough the woods in the vicinity of the crash site in an effort to locate items of value they may have missed. This walkthrough may take place as early as September 23rd or September 24th, 2001, investigation continuing. As of September 21st, 2001, the morgue is in possession of blank human remains, which are comprised of 914 separate items. The morgue has dental record for 37 individuals. Efforts are underway to identify the remains. Six specimens of human remains will be flown to the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology at Dover Air Force Base to verify or rule out possible knife wounds. To date, all such submissions have been negative. Human remains not of evidentiary value and which are not being sent to the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology at Dover Air Force Base will be turned over to the Somerset County coroner, and that's Wally Miller. Human remains sent to AFIP and returned thereafter will also be turned over to the Somerset County coroner. In fact, he handed out all the death certificates to every single passenger's loved ones and crew because they recovered human remains of all of them. You know, the family's loved ones, they went to Dover Mortuary near the, you know, they handled the Shanksville Pentagon crash. So, you know, you have people, you know, giving their toothbrushes, shirts, personal items that their loved ones wore on the plane, you know, their personal items. So this way they can collect DNA from it. And that's how they can match, you know, if they were on the plane and they were killed. Personal effects of not evidentiary value will be turned over to the United Airlines for subsequent return to families of passengers and crew. All ante-mortem interview of family members have been completed except for the 4 hijackers. Now remember this is very important. None of the hijackers' families gave DNA samples, not one. So they couldn't identify any of the hijackers positively. So that's the reason why you'll hear me say alleged. That's the proper term. Even though I know the planes were hijacked, but do we know specifically who was on these planes? No. It's only alleged. Now, FBI did interview airline employees that gave boarding passes to those who were suspected, the 19. But does that mean that they couldn't have got off the plane somehow before it took off? I mean, it's an outside shot. I just think all the hijackers are dead because it's easy to make sure that they're silent. Just like the guy who probably shot JFK is dead or out of the country. Did the hijackers knew it was a martyrdom mission? Maybe, maybe not. Like I said, it's alleged. Now, the hijackings aren't alleged. The hijackings did happen. But we still don't know who was on what plane and what their motivations originally were. Now, if we went by the story of the 4 pilot hijackers, right, they knew about the operation. The muscle hijackers didn't, because all the muscle hijackers had to know was that a plane was being hijacked and anybody fought back, to deal with them by killing them or injuring them. Maybe that's the reason why there was additional weapons on these planes. Now, that's not speculation. That's fact. There's a CNN article I read very early on, years ago. One of the first things I shared with Nelson Martins, DJ Thermodetonator, regarding additional weapons on planes, guns, knives, box cutters taped on the back of food trays. CNN report made this, did this. They found weapons. Even when the airline restrictions were lifted on September 13th, they arrested over 50, 55 people, Arabs. One dressed as a pilot to board on a plane. The guy dressed as a pilot was a bin Laden family member. Coincidence? Or was it a second wave of attacks? All right. Listen, thank you very much for tuning in. There'll be a video almost every day at this point, because there's always something to learn, always something new, and there's always something that we missed. Take care, everybody. Have a good week.